Fill this form out.
Great.
So yeah. So I try to do it once a week, but then she just emailed me today and said that somebody else could come. So a bigger list of volunteers so that the same people do it.
Yeah.
Are you interested?
I do anything. I have a lot of time.
I might let you know. I'll be there tomorrow and all of that.
Right.
See, it used to be done with
Excellent.
Hi, class. Happy Monday. I'm gonna start. Even though we're 5 people, I'm not even 6.
Gracias.
Okay, so today we are going to start talking about adverbs of frequency, okay? And I'm gonna put this close so Maribel can see it. Our adverbs of frequency are the words that we can use while using the simple present tense, which is the tense that we're learning, on how often, the frequency on the board, la frecuencia de que tú haces cosas, okay? So this paper gives you a triangle, inverted, ¿verdad? Al revés, where it gives you the percentages of the word. So for example, these are the words: always, usually, to normally or generally. Hi, hola Adriana. Often or frequently, sometimes, occasionally, seldom, rarely, or never. And these are words that we use when we are trying to describe how often we do something. So when you're using the simple present tense, and let's say you do something all the time, right? Like I drink coffee every day, right? So I can say 100% because that's every day. Eso es todos los días. So I can say, I always drink coffee in the morning. Okay, and I'm staying in the simple present. Me estoy quedando en el presente simple, en el verbo que estamos usando ahorita. Y and I'm going to say always because it's always 100%. Ven los porcentajes al lado de cada palabra. You see the percentage next to the adverb and tells you how often. So 90% of the time would be usually. What is something that you do 90% of the time? I usually work during the week. Durante la semana. Very good, Adira. What is something that you do 80% of the time? Normally, yeah. What is something that you do 80% of the time? I love your hat. Mira ya. It's dog mom. What is something that you do 80% of the time?
Every day?
Like maybe only
Or 5 days?
5 days out of 7. So what is something that you do 5 days out of 7? Go, you pick up your children at the bus stop, right? Okay, at the bus stop or at school? At school. So I normally pick up my children at school, right? Monday through Friday, ¿verdad? Or I normally pick up
This is 80% normally?
80% normally.
80%, okay, thank you.
So it happens frequently, but not always, okay? Ocurre frecuentemente, pero no siempre. O sea, que no puede ser algo que hagas todos los días. For example, coffee is every day, right? If it's not, I get cranky. What about 70% of the time, Gabby? What is something you do 70% of the time?
Maybe I go to swim every Sunday.
So you can say, I often go to swim every Sunday. Okay, very good. That's something that happens 70% of the time. So maybe 1 or 2 days out of the week, right? And then 50% would be something that happens half of the time, okay? 50% would be sometimes. Sometimes I play soccer. Very good, Rodrigo. And 30% would be occasionally, ocasionalmente. So I occasionally eat candy. Okay, if you eat candy, let's say once a month, okay, or maybe twice a month. Okay, so it's not something frequent. And then you have 10%, which is a word that is not very used, seldom. Seldom is a word that we, in normal English, we rarely use it. We use more rarely, okay? Usamos más la palabra rarely versus seldom. They can, in here, they mean different things, right? 10%, 5%, you can combine those. Se pueden combinar esos, okay? Because this one is used more common, okay, than seldom. Seldom is not very commonly used. People will understand you, but it's not something that is normally used. Normally used. ¿Vieron cómo lo puse en la oración? Because it's not common, okay? And never is obvious, right? Never would be 0%. So I never go out running in the winter. Okay, de correr en el invierno, never, right? So that is something that you can say that you never do. What is something that you never do? I never eat fish. Very good. I never eat fish. What is something else that someone has never done?
I never drive.
I never drive to Salt Lake City. Very good. Or like Erika, I'm going to go ahead and say this for Erika because I think I'm right. I never drive at night during a winter storm. ¿Verdad? Very good. I never drive during a storm. ¿Verdad? Porque no quiere. So I'm the same way. I understand. So these are the words that you can use when you're talking about how often you're doing something while in the simple present tense, okay? Acuérdense, what are the 3 reasons that we use the simple present tense? ¿Cuáles son las 3 razones que usamos el simple present tense? ¿Quién vio mi video de YouTube? De los que faltaron. What is what? So routine, ¿verdad? Routine. Habits. And habits would be that it happens many times, ¿verdad? So things, aquí es que puedo usar esto mucho. Things that occur often. Aquí tienes la palabra de nuevo, often. ¿Ves cómo la uso en todo sitio? Para enseñar la frecuencia. So either your habits, tus hábitos, tus rutinas, o las cosas que ocurren más a menudo. ¿Cuál es la tercera razón? No digas nada. ¿Cuál es la tercera razón que usamos simple present tense? ¿Quién se acuerda? Routines, habits, and starts with F. Facts. Very good, Janet. Facts. Hechos. Okay, so for example, a fact could be leaves fall from the trees during fall. Durante otoño, las hojas caen de los árboles. Es un hecho, por todos los otoños. Right? In the winter, snow falls from the sky. That's a fact. ¿Verdad? So when we're talking about facts, we use the simple present. Simple present tense. ¿Y de qué estamos hablando? ¿De qué palabra es esto? ¿Qué palabra usamos para cambiar este tiempo? Usamos un pronombre. We use a noun. A verb. Very good, Gabby. A verb. And what is a verb, Gabby? An action. Very good. A word that is an action. O sea que si yo digo un verbo, quiere decir que yo puedo actuar. Correcto. Okay, so what are some examples of a verb, Gadira? Work. Work. Perfect. Rodrigo, what's another example of a verb? What are you doing right now?
To school.
Give me one even easier. What are you doing right now?
Writing.
Right. Very good. Jana, give me a verb. Swim. Swim. Very good. Gabby, give me a verb.
Dancing.
Dance. Very good. Mireya.
Sing.
Sing. Adriana.
Eating.
Eat. Very good. Erika.
Sleeping.
Sleep. Ok. Ojo. El ING no va en simple present. Ok. Estamos hablando solamente del verbo en su base. Como yo le digo, pelado. Sin ING, sin ED, sin nada. Ok. Eso es simple present. When we're talking about now, the present tense. Okay. Cuando estamos hablando del presente, en estos tres ocurrencias. En una rutina, cuando describes tus hábitos, cosas que ocurren a menudo, que usas estas palabras, then you use these words, or when you're talking about facts. Okay? So that's when we use the simple present. I'm doing this very quickly because I know some of you were not here last week. So I want to make sure everyone's on the same boat. So make sure that when we're talking about the simple present, we do not say this. Okay, no decimos ING. So swim, no swimming. Dance, not dancing. Okay? And what is the one thing that we add to the verb in the simple present tense? What is one thing that we add? We don't add ing, but what do we do add? An S. And when do we add the S?
E.
And always or singular, plural?
Singular.
Only singular. And that's very, very important. Esa es regla. Esa es la única regla. It's the only rule. Okay? That when you have he, she, it in your sentence, and you're using a verb in the present, you're going to add an S. So for example, let me go over here so the computer can record. David David blanked his breakfast always at 9 a.m. Or I can say the other way around as well. Sounds better. Okay. David always blanked his breakfast at 9 a.m. Janet, what verb can go here? Eat. Eats. Now I'm going to say eat, right? And I know you said the S, so I'm going to add it. David, is it he, she, it, Adriana? Yes, right? David is he. Pero es lo mismo. Yo puedo poner he como puedo poner David. It's the same thing. So David always, and if we have this rule, y tenemos que añadir la S, eats his breakfast at 9 a.m. Okay? Because we're talking about he, she, it in singular. Always. Es algo que les va a ocurrir mucho y que tienen que acordarse. If you're talking about a he, she, it, you always add an S. Okay? Fíjense cómo usé la palabra de frecuencia aquí. David always. David never. David rarely. It's telling you how often. Cuán a menudo ocurre algo. Okay? Does that make sense? ¿Tiene alguna pregunta? We're gonna review for the rest of the day. Vamos a repasar todo esto en lo que va la clase. Okay? Okay. So, we are, everyone transform? Yep. Okay. We are going to do some this, which is an introduction, and then we're going to do the exercises. These are for you three, for Mary's not here, but for you two. That's one for each. The answer key for the exercise that we're doing. Okay, here's this. Here's this. Okay, so this sheet gives you an introduction on the adverbs. Okay, so how to write them in a sentence. ¿Cómo escribirlos en una oración? So we're going to talk about the introduction to adverbs. So adverb, right, which is the adverb of frequency, is a word that describes a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Okay, en este caso, the adverb is describing what? What is this adverb of frequency describing? So for example, let's take this sentence. David always eats his breakfast at 9 a.m. What is always describing? The frequency of eats, right? So it's describing what?
Not there.
A verb, right? So the adverb of frequency is describing how often the action happens. Cuán a menudo ocurre la acción. Es el propósito de este adverbio de frecuencia. Que te está dejando saber cuán a menudo ocurre la acción. So you can't say a sentence that says David always, because where's your verb, right? It's not describing the verb. You have to say David always sings in the shower, or David always eats in the car. Okay, it's giving you the describing the verb, which is sings, eat. Okay, it's describing how often, cuán a menudo algo ocurre. So for example, these are 4 examples, and we're going to go around reading them. Rodrigo, number 1. If you can read the example.
They always walk to school.
Very good. And which is your adverb of frequency?
Walk to school.
Very good. And it's describing always.
Always.
It's describing what? Where's your verb? ¿Cuál es tu verbo? ¿Cuál es tu acción?
Caminar. Walk.
Very good. Walk. Very good, Rodrigo. Yadira, number 2.
My bicycle is really fast. The verb is really.
It's describing is. El verbo ser, ¿verdad? Okay. So the bicycle is really fast. It's describing how fast, right? Really fast. It's describing the adjective, perdón, un adjetivo. Okay, so it's describing fast. Janet, number 3.
My teacher speaks very quickly.
My teacher speaks very quickly. Very good. Where is your adverb?
Quickly.
Quickly. Very good. Very quickly. ¿Verdad? Very quickly is your adverb. And what is very? Very good. It describes how she speaks, right? Speaks is the verb. Very good. And Gabby, number 4.
And the rain action. And adverb of frequency is action.
Very good.
And there was rain.
it describes the whole thing, right? It describes the whole sentence. So it tells you, I like the rain, usually, actually, hello. I like the rain, comma, actually. That's a strange sentence. But usually you would say, I actually like the rain. That is how more commonly you would say it, okay? Very good. And this is the same thing as your graph. Okay, la próxima página es lo mismo que su triángulo invertido. Ok, donde tienen todos los adverbios de frecuencia junto con el porcentaje del tiempo. Okay, it tells you the same thing. And it tells you some examples. So Shayla, do you want to read the next example right here? Okay. The second page of that.
He goes shopping. How often do he go shopping? This is a question, right? He something goes shopping.
He sometimes.
Sometimes, sorry.
Sometimes.
Sometimes goes shopping.
Very good. And Adriana, next sentence.
My sister eats breakfast. How often does she eat breakfast?
Very good.
She usually eats breakfast.
Usually. Very good. She usually eats breakfast. So what does sometimes mean, Shayla?
He goes shopping.
Sometimes, but how often is sometimes? Mira tu porcentaje. How often is sometimes?
It's all, no, occasional.
50% of the time, ¿verdad? 50%. Ajá, very good. And Adriana, when does usually happen? How often? 18%, very good. So some not too common, ¿verdad? No muy común. Very good. Okay, so then, yes,
Sorry.
yes.
Sometimes in occasionally like
50-50.
50-50.
Uh-huh. So something that happens half of the time.
Yeah.
So it can be once a month, it can be not too common, no muy común.
Yeah.
Exacto.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question. And then we have two patterns, okay? So we have two ways of writing the adverb of frequency. Tenemos dos maneras de escribir el adverbio de frecuencia en tus oraciones. En número uno, adverbs of frequency are usually placed before the verb, antes del verbo. Igual que el ejemplo que tenemos en la pizarra, the same way that we have it on the board. David always eats his breakfast at 9 a.m. And we can have another explanation. Mireya, number one.
She never studies.
She never studies, and which is your adverb of frequency?
Never.
Very good. And what would be number two, Erika?
My friend usually plays baseball
with us. Very good. So it would be usually. Repite esa palabra conmigo.
Usually.
Usually. Very good. Usualmente.
My
okay.
friend usually plays baseball
with us. Very good. Very good. And number three, Rodrigo.
I always watch TV before bed.
I always watch TV before bed. See how the adverbs of frequency are always before the verb? Always is before watch. Usually is before plays. Never is before studies. Okay, so it's before antes del verbo. Now there are sometimes when it goes after, only when you are using the verb to be. Okay, like Jalira's example. So when you're using the verb to be, what is the verb to be in Spanish? Ser, el verbo ser, correcto. So we have, for example, Jalira, do you want to read the first example?
My brother is always hungry.
My brother is always hungry. The verb is, always goes after the verb. Okay? So si tienen el verbo ser, es cuando únicamente el adverbio de frecuencia va después del verbo, no antes. Si tienen oraciones que tienen los verbos is, am y are. I am she is, he is, they are. Okay? Debo ser. And number 2, Janet.
You are almost never late.
You are almost never late. Very good. And what are they describing?
Almost never.
How late, right? Almost never late. It's usually describing how often they are late. Cuán frecuente están tarde. Very good. And Diana, number 3.
Her children are often tired.
Very good. And which is your adverb of frequency?
Often.
Often. Very good. And it goes after are, ¿verdad? Después del verbo. Después del verbo. Very good. So now we know it goes before the verb, va antes del verbo, a menos que sea una oración con los verbos is and are. Acuérdate, is, am, y are, que es el verbo ser, el verbo to be. Ser, okay? Very good. Okay, and then there are sometimes that they could go at the beginning of the sentence, okay? Like the example here. They mean the same thing and all 3 are correct. Okay, por ejemplo, sometimes he is late, he is sometimes late, or he is late sometimes. It's the same thing, los 3 están correctos. Okay, que lo puedes usar de esa manera también si estás usando palabras como sometimes, rarely, never, etc. Ok, lo pueden poner al principio, lo pueden poner antes del verbo, o lo pueden poner después del verbo. Ok, mi sugerencia es que una vez la escriban, léenla en voz alta. ¿Suena bien? Ustedes se van a dar cuenta. Ok, y si no, me preguntan. Ok, okay. And that is it. Guarden esta hoja. Keep these 2 pages. Todo el mundo debe tener estas 2 hojas. ¿A alguien le falta una? Vianney, creo que te falta esto. Se puede sentar. Okay, so now we're going to go into our small groups. And we are going to go through these exercises. Vamos a ir por estos ejercicios donde tenemos de adverbios de frecuencia. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Me falta 2 por acá. And 1, 2, 3. And then here's one for you, Bob. And one for Robin. So you can say, yeah, you feel free to give her that one. And then, whoop. Here we go. So now we are going to start. And let's put our small groups. Vamos a ponernos en nuestros grupos pequeños. We have Erika, Adriana. That's it. With Bob. Bob, you have a small group today. Which is great. And then, so Adriana, Erika over here. Then we have Vianel, Sheila, and Gabby, and Vianel with Robin. And then Janet, vente por acá, and you will be here with me. Because we're going to be doing this group. And, okay. Maribel. Ay, perdón, Can I have one of those answer keys by any chance?
Yeah,
I think there was 3.
watch what you put down. So you
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so the first area, in la primera área, we're going to fill in the blank. Vamos a llenar el espacio. So, for example, you see the sentence, maybe what you see the percentage. Okay?
Okay,
So I
sure.
want you to think about using the page, using this page. Think about what is the right adverb frequency that I use for that percentage that fits on the sentence. de que va con la oración. Okay. So fill it out and tell me if you have any questions, concerns. Okay. Maribel, te voy a enseñar esto aquí y puedes tratar de completarlo.
Ujú.
Lo que estamos haciendo es llenando los blancos.
Ok,
Hay que para la primera ves la oración
sí.
y entonces ves el porcentaje y de acuerdo al porcentaje, entonces sabes, puedes llenar la palabra adecuada del adverbio de frecuencia llenando la oración.
Ok.
La voy a poner así.
Ajá. Ok, my brother. Ah, no alcanzo a ver.
Bueno, si quieres escríbela en el chat. Ujú. Es que hay dos.
Uh-huh. Yes, yellow. Oh, 30. Oh, you're right. No, I get
Creo que será más fácil que mejor la leas porque no alcanzo a ver el paréntesis. Por
Déjame,
favor.
te la voy a enviar, voy a hacer algo mejor, te la voy a enviar por email, ¿ok?
Gracias.
sometimes these are a little different.
El 20%.
So you 10% or 30%. I noticed that. I saw another one of these. It wasn't exactly the same. Let's see.
Ahí va, Maribel. Los ayudo en 2 segundos. Estoy enviando a Maribel.
It's, as she said, that word seldom is not used very often.
It doesn't sound very too. He does often, or he does seldom forget his homework. He does occasionally forget his homework. Usually.
Ok, Maribel, ahí te lo estoy añadiendo y te lo estoy enviando ahorita. El que vas a usar, te estoy enviando 2. Uno es para ahorita y otro es para más tarde. El que dice Adverbs of Frequency, te lo acabo de enviar.
Gracias. Entonces lo checo. Gracias.
You know, you would have a better idea of almost never, right? Which you would probably say rarely, or maybe it's just a little more than almost never. In which case usually.
Okay. ¿Todo el mundo dice la primera página?
No, esta nos falta la otra.
He does seldom forget his homework. Blanco. Y esa es la número 8. Ok. Cuando tenemos palabras como he does, ¿verdad? ¿Qué queremos cuando queremos decir algo que no ocurre mucho? ¿Qué le añadimos a esa palabra? He does not, ¿verdad? He does not. Seldom. ¿Y cómo decimos? Seldom, el que casi nunca usamos. ¿Cuál es el que siempre usamos más común? Rarely, exacto. So we can say he does not forget his homework. You can say very often, ¿verdad? Porque often, exacto. Very often. Very, usamos la palabra very cuando queremos recalcar algo. It is very cold.
But this is not an adverb,
Okay.
so-
It is very dry. It is very rarely. Muy raramente. Cuando quieres recalcar algo, exacto. Quieres llegar al punto, como el ejemplo que dijo Janet. Very quickly. Muy rápido. Si tienes dudas, Maribel me avisa, ¿ok? Ok, vamos a corregirla junta. La primera. Así que ya. Number
Yo
one.
las tengo y se ve muy bien. Sí las
Ok.
puedo leer muy bien, gracias.
Perfect. Okay, number one. What would you put? Let's go one by one. Rodrigo.
My brother sometimes drives to school.
Very good. Sometimes. Number two.
They normally walk the door after dinner.
Very good. They normally, it can be usually, it can be often, it can be frequently. Cualquiera de esos funciona. Okay, frequently, frecuentemente. Often, a menudo. Usually, usualmente. Number three.
She is rarely sad.
She is rarely sad, or she is very good. Rarely sad. Perfect, Janet. Number five.
Melissa normally practices the piano after school.
Melissa normally practices the piano after school. Very good. You can say she usually, she frequently, she often. Very good. Number five.
Oh, yeah, this is,
My
these are the
neighbor
words. but you
goes
have to
swimming
recognize
in the
them,
pool
so-
sometimes.
Sometimes. Perfect, Rodrigo. Number
Starts with
six.
she. She-
Daniela rarely texts me.
Very good. Number seven, Janet.
Chris is never bored.
Very good. Never bored. Number eight.
He does not forget his homework very often.
Perfect. Very good, Mireya. Number nine.
Your cat always wants to sit on me.
Very good. Always. Number 10.
So,
She has never seen the ocean.
Oh my God. That's a big one. Nunca he visto el océano. Very good, Yadira. Yo me muero. I need the ocean. Okay. So the next one, the patterns, we are going to rewrite the sentences in the correct order. Okay, so for example, remember what we learned about? We use the adverb of frequency at the beginning of the sentence, unless it is a sentence with the verb to be. That is, am, are. Okay, so the first one, the example gives you tests, difficult, English, are, often. Where's your verb?
he is.
Are. So it would go before or after? After, ¿verdad? So we can say English tests are often difficult. ¿Ves cómo el often está después? And we know English goes before tests. Why? Because it's describing the test. ¿Verdad? Porque es lo que tipo de examen, examen en inglés. No va a decir examen, va a decir examen de inglés, ¿verdad? So that's, we would rewrite the sentence correctly. Okay, vamos a reescribir la oración correctamente. So vamos a hacer number one. She go swimming. Perfect. Very good. ¿Entendiste por qué, Rodrigo? Okay, very good. I'll let you finish this page and then we'll go around, okay? Si tienen dudas, me avisan.
Maybe I sing in my head, but I don't actually sing out loud. My
That's what
sister-
I'm doing too, Robin.
Yeah, my sister, angry.
My brother
enojado.
sometimes
Ajá.
they normally work
Ah,
they
sí.
do it after school.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
My sister,
Rarely, she is rarely sad. rhymes with mad or bad, mad, bad, sad.
Angry,
Okay.
almost. It's never. I would do, before angry. And the verb is gets angry. So the other two go before. My sister.
¿Viste dónde va la S? ¿Por qué? Porque she, ¿verdad? Tienes la S.
Yes. My sister, but it's not is, so it comes before gets. Almost never gets angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the adverb is after the adverb.
Acuérdate, van a ver la frecuencia primero y después el verbo, a menos que la oración vaya con if
Almost
and are.
never gets angry. The almost never. Almost. Thank you. But do you see why? It's important to know why. Because it's not is. So these are this is describing this almost never. And then the verb is after that.
That is two others and
Almost never.
To,
so we have to use just one or both of them.
if there's two, en el promesa número 4. My sister almost,
Never is not on this list.
almost never.
So almost never is
And
on
one
Casi nunca.
But it would be, if it were on this
Well,
list,
here,
almost
almost
never would
always.
be.
¿En cuál está? ¿En la 4 o en la 5?
And six.
En la 6. So it would be almost always. Correcto. Casi siempre. O casi nunca. El almost es recalcando, ¿verdad?
You could say always plus, or almost always,
Sorry.
right?
Sometimes he likes scary movies.
That was a hard one.
Oh, this is easy. This is easy.
Yeah.
Oh, here, I got the thing.
Yeah. ¿Cuál es el verbo? Ajá, seguiría antes, ¿verdad? O sea que sería they,
Yeah. But it doesn't start with mother.
Sí.
don't, y yo después,
And then,
Se va antes.
va antes del verbo.
No. Very often call.
They don't very often.
I right. They don't call each other very often.
Correcto, Yadira está correcta. They don't call each other very often. Acuérdate, el very va con el adverbio de frecuencia. Va junto.
ajá.
Y igual con el almost. El almost y el very son las palabras recalcando. Van junto con el verbo de frecuencia.
Okay, so far so good.
They do not. Todavía no 7. They do not call each other very often.
There's another word. That is correct. Yep.
So,
Classmate.
classmates son compañeros de clase. O sea, que está hablando de la clase o de tus compañeros de clase. ¿Quién llega tarde? ¿La clase o los compañeros? Correcto. Así que sería my. Abuela, te va antes del verbo.
Usually come on time to class.
Yes. Come to class on time. On time, very good.
I write come on time to class.
Al revés, come to class on time.
But it's not the same.
Significa lo mismo, pero está usando el inglés correcto. Come to class on time. Muy bien.
In this case, don't speak a little bit like it is, so the average.
¿Cuál es el verbo ya? Así que ¿cuál es? Ajá, muy bien. Ajá. ¿A dónde va? We go, pero ¿cómo se dice? Go. ¿Qué te falta entre media? Ajá. 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 ¿Cuándo? Very good.
Right, and that's correct. So if there are 3 ways that you can bring that one, right? He sometimes likes scary movies. Sometimes likes scary movies. And he likes scary movies.
La última te está tirando una curviada.
Okay.
Porque la frecuencia no está al principio ni en el medio, está al final.
Ok.
Y la frecuencia son 2 palabras. Ajá. Ajá. What is it?
Do.
She doesn't do. Ajá. ¿Qué más? Ajá.
Yeah.
Very often. Correcto. Very good. Ok. Vamos a corregirla. Ya hicimos la número 1. Número 2. Rodrigo, number 2. He is always friendly. Correct. Number 3, Yadira.
I often sing in the shower.
Very good. I often sing in the shower. You can also say, okay, igual que el ejemplo que di ahorita, often I sing in the shower, or I sing in the shower often. Cualquiera de esas funciona. Okay. Puedes decirlo antes del verbo, al principio de la oración o al final de la oración. Okay. Number 4, Janet.
My sister almost never gets angry.
Perfect. My sister almost never gets angry. Number 5, Mireya.
He sometimes likes scary movies.
Very good. He sometimes likes scary movies. This is the same thing as often. Sometimes he likes scary movies. Or he likes scary movies sometimes. Okay. Cualquiera de las 3 funciona. Number 6, Rodrigo. Siempre con often y sometimes, ¿ok? Que puedes jugar ese juego. Ajá. Correcto. Perfect. Your mother almost always cooks delicious food. Number 7, Jadina.
They don't call each other very often.
Very good. They don't call each other or do not call each other very often. Very good. Number 8, Janet.
My classmates usually come to class on time.
Perfect. My classmates usually come to class on time. You can also say usually my classmates come to class on time or my classmates come to class on time usually. Okay? Complicarlo más todavía. Mireya, number 9.
Okay, it's we always go on vacation in the summer.
Perfect. Very good. Rodrigo.
She doesn't do her homework very often.
Perfect. She doesn't do her homework very often. Okay. So now we are going to pair you up. Okay. Yadira y Janet, ¿se pueden intercambiar conmigo? Para separar a ellos dos un momento. Practiquen por acá. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to ask your partner the following questions. Okay. And you're going to write his or her answer using adverb of frequency. For example, so let's say that Janet asked Rodrigo, how often do you check your email? Rodrigo says, I rarely check my email. So Janet's going to say, he rarely checks his email. So you're going to write each other's response on the paper, okay?
Okay.
¿Quién sabe? Se puede comenzar.
Cada
uno va a tomar turno, o sea, cada uno va a tener respuesta.
Entonces los dos vamos a poner lo que yo diga, la respuesta.
Ella va a poner lo que tú dices, tú vas a poner lo que ella dice.
How often do you wear running shoes?
I usually wear running shoes. How often do you wear running shoes?
I always wear running shoes.
Very good, cambiando los pronombres las dos. O sea, es que ¿estás hablando de ti o estás hablando de él?
Ah, yo.
Exacto. Acuérdate, cámbialo a lo que es él. ¿Qué le cae? No you. ¿Qué es él? He.
She always wears running shoes.
Very good, Janet.
How often do you wear running shoes?
Junk food es de McDonald's, de Wendy, de Express. Correct.
How often do you eat junk food?
I rarely eat junk food. How often do you eat junk food?
I almost never eat junk food.
Very good.
I say my classmates usually come because this is not a to be, so this is the adverb and it comes before the
Rare, ¿qué te falta ahí? Ándate la Y, Yadira. Very good. Maribel, ¿estás bien? ¿Tienes duda?
Sí, ya terminé la primera parte, solo tenía duda en la 8. Ya voy con la segunda parte.
La 8.
Ajá, no sabía que me quedé con la duda.
La 8 sería does not. Ok, así que le vas a añadir el not. He does not forget his homework very often. Muy a menudo.
Occasionally.
So he does not forget his homework very often.
Ok, entonces será. Seldom lo quito, ¿verdad? No, no aplica.
Seldom lo puedes usar, lo que pasa es que casi nunca se usa.
Ah, ok.
¿Qué?
Gracias.
De nada.
Y estoy haciendo ya la segunda.
La segunda, sabes que tienes que rehacer la oración, ¿verdad? Y
Ajá,
acuérdate, busca siempre tus verbos y ahí sabes si va antes del verbo o si son los verbos estos que están aquí en la pizarra, is, am, are. Y si es después de esos verbos, va después del verbo. She is always late. Exacto.
He is always friendly.
Exactamente. Va
Gracias.
después del verbo. ¿Ok?
I sometimes go to the
We
dentist.
always go on vacation in the summer. We always go.
Another way of saying that.
No, we always go.
How often do you go camping?
¿Entiendes por qué, Erika? Porque va antes del verbo, a menos que el verbo sea im, as, are, is, as, are. ¿Ok? Como está ahí.
How often do you go there before
If it's that verb, she goes after. Si no, va.
Occasionally.
Yeah. If it's, if the verb is, am, or are, it goes after. If it's any other verb, it goes before.
Okay.
Word. I would actually say.
Yeah.
And then the very is like almost always very often.
So,
Yeah, there is before the adverb.
Ok, ¿ya? Ok. Okay. Cuando ya acaben, leemos todo.
Yes, we go.
Go camping.
My sisters never.
Oh, and on vacation.
So there's another word in there, right? So.
No, yeah,
Seldom.
Or rarely.
or on vacation.
Rarely, para que te acuerdes. I really go camping.
In summer.
You can say that, or you could say he sometimes like sharing with me.
How often?
So, well, then she goes camping sometimes, or you can say sometimes she goes camping. Está correcto. Or she sometimes goes camping.
But it's covered.
Está perfecto. Puede ser cualquiera de las tres maneras.
Okay.
¿Ya? Ok. So, cada uno me va a leer su respuesta. Okay, let's start with number one.
She almost always wear running shoes.
She almost always wears.
Wear.
Acuérdate, she singular. She almost always wears running shoes. Very good. Janet.
Here's a clue.
He always wears running shoes.
Very good. Yadira.
The same question.
Mhm.
She usually wears running shoes.
Very good. Mireya.
She always wears running shoes.
Very good. That S. Very good. It's number two.
Sorry. She rarely eats junk food.
Very good. She rarely eats junk food, Janet.
He rarely eats junk food.
Very good. He rarely eats junk food, Yadira.
She rarely eats junk food.
Rarely.
Rarely.
Very good. Porque si no suena como really.
Rarely.
Así que tienes que tener cuidado, ¿ok? Rarely. Very good. Como rare. Cuando el término de la carne que está rare, medium rare, rare, que está cruda. Rarely, exactamente.
Rarely.
She rarely eats junk food. Very good. Mireya.
She almost never eats junk food.
Very good. She almost never, recalcar ese almost, perdón, ese never, ¿verdad? Almost never eats junk food. Number three, Rodrigo.
She sometimes goes to the dentist.
She sometimes goes to the dentist. Very good.
She sometimes goes to the dentist.
Very good. Sometimes goes to the dentist, Yadira.
She rarely,
Very good. La dicta perfecta.
rarely goes to the dentist.
Perfect.
She occasionally goes to the dentist.
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
Very good. Occasionally goes to the dentist. Very good. We're supposed to go to the dentist every 6 months, so you know.
Occasionally.
Every 6 months, you should go to the dentist.
Yes.
Occasionally, very good. Okay, number 4, Rodrigo. Very good. She never goes to bed before 8 p.m. Janet.
She rarely goes to bed before 8 p.m.
Very good. Sadira.
She never goes.
Cualquiera de los dos.
She never goes to bed before 8 p.m.
Very good. And Mireya?
She rarely
Barely.
goes to bed before 8 p.m.
Very good. Very good. It's a late. Everyone goes to bed late. Rarely.
Rarely.
Very good. Y occasionally. Dígala conmigo.
Occasionally.
Occasionally. Dígala a todo el mundo.
Occasionally.
Y rarely.
Occasionally.
Rarely. Very good. Very good. Number 5. She rarely goes camping.
She rarely goes camping.
Very good. Very good.
She occasionally goes camping.
Very good. She occasionally goes camping. Very good. Okay. So now in part 4, you are going to now write 3 questions and you're going to do the same thing. Okay. Ahora ustedes van a crear las 3 oraciones y se las preguntan a cada uno.
Okay.
Okay. Remember, miren el formato de la oración. How often do you whatever? Okay. So how often do you shower at night? How often do you eat breakfast before 8 a.m.? Okay. You come up with the questions. Ustedes crean sus oraciones. Y después que crean la oración, se la preguntan a su pareja.
Oh, so how about
so you can pair them up.
yeah.
So what we did is 2 and 2. So you can be with Vianel, and then they ask each other. So they each have answers.
Think of a question. So think of 3.
Oh, you have the 3 questions. Oh, yeah, perfect. You're in the same spot we are. Perfect. Sorry, Robin, I thought you were here.
Tengo duda en la 4.
En la 4.
No sé si esté bien.
De la crear oraciones.
Ajá, sí.
Ok. ¿Qué tienes?
My sister gets angry almost. Y está también la opción de never.
Acuérdate.
Pero never sería nada.
Cuando
¿Los dos?
tienes 2 juntas, es que una está recalcando la otra. Como decir muy a menudo o casi nunca. ¿Okay? Es lo mismo en español. O sea que aquí podríamos decir, my sister almost never gets angry.
My sister
Almost never.
Okay.
Almost está recalcando never. O sea que es lo mismo que casi nunca.
Oh, ok.
Okay.
Ok, la puedo usar. Almost never.
Almost never, correcto.
Gracias.
Go out dancing. Or how often do you go out? Go out dancing. Sí. Y acuérdate cuando conteste usar el verbo normal sin ing. ¿Ok?
Se pregunta con ing.
Se puede preguntar
Se puede
con ing,
normal.
pero no la contestación sería en presente.
Siempre en presente.
How often do you cook dinner?
I cook dinner.
Lina, entonces, perdón.
¿Mm?
Entonces, ¿cómo queda? My sister almost never Gets angry.
Correcto.
Entonces le había puesto mal. My sister gets angry almost. Primero el verbo. Pero
Exacto.
primero entonces. Gracias.
My sister
How often do you go out dancing?
A ver.
Ok, gracias. Sí.
de nada. Te la voy a corregir las otras.
Salgo a bailar.
How often do you go out?
I often go out dancing.
Acuérdate, Maribel, en la número 3, I often sing in the shower. Porque el adverbio de frecuencia tiene que ir antes del verbo, a menos que el verbo sea con is, as, are. Esto está aquí, en la pizarra, ¿ok?
Sí, sí, sí. Como arriba sí aplicaban. He always. I sing often. Ok. Gracias.
Mira, voy a seguir con el chat viendo, pero estoy pendiente.
Gracias.
¿No?
¿Cuál?
Antes y después del verbo es el
Sí, o sea, she often goes outside.
She often goes out to dance. To dance. Ahí pondrías el to. Sí. Igual que to listen, to dance, to move. ¿Entiendes? Cuando tienes una acción que necesita ese to.
How often do you drink coffee?
How often
I
do
never
you go to swim? He rarely goes to swim. Perfect.
How often do you walk in the morning?
I rarely
Okay.
walk in
Okay.
the morning.
How
I,
often do you sing in the shower?
he. Muy bien. He. Very good, Janet.
Okay.
She never drinks coffee. Coffee, añádame 2 S. 2 F, 2
Sabía
S.
que le faltaba algo.
Muy bien. ¿Ya acabaron? Ya. Ahora vamos a leer. Me van a leer la pregunta. Ah, ok. Acá.
Uy. I
Very good. I almost never cook lunch. Very good. Or she, ¿verdad? Ajá. Cook. Ay, gracias, Yadira. Me leíste la mente.
How often do you cry?
I always cry.
Very good. He rarely walks in the morning. Very good.
Okay, ya lista.
Y aquí también.
Oh, sí. Yo lo borré y lo
Doble. Muy bien. Very good. Ok, ¿ya?
Ya.
Okay. Rodrigo, la pregunta y tu contestación.
Okay. La pregunta fue, how often do you play with your kids? She usually plays with her kids.
With her kids or with her children, ¿verdad? Cualquiera de los dos. Very good. Very good. Janet.
How often do you go to the Idaho Falls? He sometimes goes to Idaho Falls.
Very good.
How often do you cook dinner? She sometimes cooks dinner. Like, she cooks sometimes dinner.
Sometimes she cooks dinner. She sometimes cooks dinner. Or she cooks dinner sometimes. Okay. Cualquiera te puede ser al principio, antes del verbo o al final. Okay. Yes, usually, sometimes, y often. Okay. Very good. A confundirlos más. Si te confunde, te puedes memorizar que va antes del verbo y ya. Y siempre está, y ahí está correcta, siempre. ¿Ok? A menos que el verbo acabe, sea con is, am, are, y entonces va después del verbo. ¿Ok? Mireya.
How often do you sing in the shower? She sings in the shower sometimes.
Very good. Very good. Dame dos.
La pregunta fue, how often do you go to the grocery store?
Ajá.
She almost always goes to the grocery store.
Perfect.
How often do you go to swim? She rarely goes to swim.
Very good.
How often do you go out dancing? She often goes out dancing.
Where? Where? I need that. Sí, I need that. I need to go dancing. Mireya.
How often do you cook lunch?
Very good.
She almost never cooks lunch.
Almost never cooks lunch. Very good. Okay, so now we are going to go into writing. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to describe a typical day, un día típico, okay? You're going to write at least 10 sentences and you're going to use these adverbs of frequency, okay? Y vamos a usar estos adverbios de frecuencia, okay? So let's read the example. When I wake up, I always brush my teeth. I often wear jeans to class. In class, we usually correct our homework. Eso es un ejemplo. Okay, so you can write your typical day using adverbs of frequency. Remember, before the verb or after the verb, si la oración es con is, am, are. Okay, very good. We're going to read them after you write. La C está correcta, Maribel, excepto almost always.
Delicious. Oh, es al revés.
Porque delicious está describiendo comida, ¿verdad? Así que el adjetivo siempre va antes. Igual que English class, delicious food, tired baby, red car, lo mismo.
Ok, la 7.
Your mom die very often, don't call each other. Sí, esa está correcta. O puedes decir
They don't call each
el
other.
very often puede ir al principio, al final o en el medio, ¿ok? Mi manera de más fácil memorizártela, como le dije al grupo ahora, es que te acuerdes que va como la tuviste tú, antes del verbo. They very often don't call each other or they don't call each other very often. Cualquiera de los dos funciona.
Ok, sí se me hizo más fácil la primera, gracias.
Sí.
Ok, entonces sería...
Okay.
¿Cuál es mejor de uso? Ese, ¿verdad? Es el más usado.
¿Cuál?
Usually.
Usually sí. Usually es como 80%, usualmente.
How often do you go to? How often do you
Hacer o hago ejercicio. Hacer ejercicio.
I exercise.
Solo exercise.
I often or I usually exercise. I never
No puede
exercise.
ir al principio. Usually I exercise.
Usually es uno de los que puedes hacer, sí.
Sí, va en principio.
Espérate, no, espérate. Sí, usually I exercise. Correcto.
Oh yeah, I occasionally. So yeah, it comes before. If it's that, it's after. That's important to remember. So yeah, right. See what I was saying? Sometimes the adverb comes before and only when it's due for a article. So,
O le puedo poner acá.
oh, yeah, that's okay. See?
Entonces lleva acá.
See, it's after the is, but it's before the eats.
Cuando el verbo es este, el verbo ser,
It's a verb and a verb.
siempre va después. Cuando el verbo es normal, como comer, que no es verbo ser, va antes. ¿Ok?
Sí o no?
Daughter. D-A-U-G-H-T-E-R.
Y ejercicio.
Because right is
Exer, ajá, size, C-I-S-E. S-E. Exercice. Ajá.
Oh, yeah.
I usually come on time to class, my classmates. Perfecto.
Listen to music.
Está correcta, Maribel.
Listen to music. Oh, listen. No, no. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, you know why this is? It's like, because music is not something you can count. It's like, do you drink coffee? You don't say, do you drink the coffee? You listen to music, not the music. Uh-huh.
Ya le vamos a poner. Al final, pero ya lo vamos a
You can say the music.
I usually get ready for the gym. For the gym. Para el gym. No al gym, ¿verdad? For the gym. Exacto.
Yeah,
Correcto.
that then you have an adjective before the music, so yeah. Mexican music.
Sometimes I pick up my daughter from school.
Uh-huh. Sometimes I pick up my daughter from school. Very good.
Usually I eat lunch in my house.
In my house, perfect.
In a house or
Sí.
at my house.
Estás adentro de tu casa, o sea que puedes decir in or at, cualquiera de los dos. Con tal de que estés físicamente adentro de algo, el in está correcto.
Okay.
Eso es lo próximo que vamos a discutir. Preposiciones. Mire, ya sabes. We always go. Ok, te faltó una palabra aquí y es we always go
In, pero no supe cómo ponerla. In.
in the summer. Ahí te la envío. We always go on vacation in the summer.
Oh, es que she
En
goes.
vacaciones en el verano.
La otra también tengo un poco de duda porque es la última. She doesn't do her homework very often.
Perfect.
¿Sí? Ah, ok.
Sí, está perfecta.
Déjala escribo. Gracias.
We have 5 minutes.
No, it's only swim. Yeah.
I almost always take a shower.
A shower at night. Perfect. Maribel, lo que puedes hacer es seguir haciendo este panfletito y si siempre tienes dudas, la última página en las contestaciones, pero trata de no mirarlo hasta que acabes todo. Es por lo menos la sección, ¿ok?
Ok, entonces a ver.
Entonces, la próxima.
La última. Sí, es correcta, la última, la 10. She doesn't do
her homework very often.
Ok, gracias.
Entonces, en esta sección, puedes hacerle la pregunta a alguien en casa y entonces escribes la contestación que ellos ponen, ¿ok? Siempre usando how often do you do that? So he rarely checks his email. Rarely antes del verbo, ¿verdad? Porque el verbo no es is, am or are.
Ok.
O sea que le puedes hacer la pregunta a quien sea y entonces escribes la contestación usando el pronombre adecuado. O sea, si lo preguntas a tu nena, sería she. Si se lo preguntas a tu esposo, sería he. Ok, no usaría I ni you.
Ok.
Entonces, en la otra, te inventas 3 preguntas tú, haciendo el mismo formato del otro. How often do you go camping? How often do you cook breakfast? How often do you shower at night? Escribe las contestaciones nuevamente.
Ok.
Y la última sección es escribir, que es lo que estamos haciendo ahora.
Ok.
10 oraciones describiendo tu día típico usando adverbios de frecuencia, ¿ok? Como el ejemplo que te da aquí. I always brush my teeth. When I wake up, I always brush my teeth. I often wear jeans to class. In class, we usually correct our homework.
Ok.
Lo escribes, me lo puedes enviar por email y yo te las corrijo si quieres.
Ok, sí, porque me faltan 3 hojas. Me atrasé mucho, gracias.
Sí.
Pero está interesante. Me gustó mucho el ejercicio.
Ya veo 2 acabaron. Vamos a ir leyendo porque si no nos da tiempo.
Sí.
Sí.
When I wake up, I usually get ready for the gym. I always brush my teeth. I always eat breakfast. I usually drink coffee. I always try to work. Sometimes I pick up my daughter from school. Usually I eat lunch in my house. I almost never cook dinner. Sometimes I play with my children. No children.
¿Tú tienes 2? Okay, my children, very good.
I almost always, I almost always take a shower at night. Sometimes I eat dinner.
Sometimes?
Yes.
Okay. Very good, Mireya.
Okay. When I wake up, I always take breakfast.
I always eat.
Oh, eat. Okay.
Eat breakfast.
I always brush my teeth. Usually I exercise.
Espérate. Ok. Aquí. Me estás repitiendo lo mismo 2 veces. Así que me puedes decir, when I wake up, I always eat breakfast and brush my teeth.
Ok, es lo que hago cuando es lo mismo.
Exacto. Me puedes decir,
ese no se repite.
Y brush my teeth porque ya sabemos que...
Usually I exercise. I frequently read a book for my English class. I often cook dinner. I sometimes run outside. I I always got my children at school.
I always pick up my children at
Oh,
school.
okay.
Porque es recogerlo, ¿verdad? Y pick dash up.
I always eat lunch in my house.
Perfect.
I always take shower at night.
A shower. Una ducha. Añádame, ajá.
I never drink coffee.
Ajá.
I usually drive to grocery.
I usually drive to the grocery store. Store. Muy bien. Ok, acá, Janet.
I always wake up before 7 a.m. I sometimes take a shower in the morning and always brush my teeth.
Okay. Porque entonces sometimes take a shower and always brush. Okay, hay something diferente.
I occasionally eat breakfast with my kids. I always drive to my work. I rarely buy my lunch. Sometimes go to the
I go
to Monger Mountain School to pick up my kids. I almost always cook dinner. I often read with my children. I usually help my kids to take the shower.
To take a shower. A shower. A shower.
We almost always go to the bed at 10 p.m.
We almost always go to bed at 10 p.m. Quítame el 2. Y un la. Si me vas a decir children, usa children. Si me vas a hacer kids, usa kids.
No puedes mix.
Trata de no usarlo porque el kids es como slang. Children es más formal. ¿Ok? O sea que yo personalmente usaría children. Y mantiene children en todo sitio.
I always wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I usually wear my running shoes and normally do my workout. And I sometimes.
And then usually do my workout. Punto. Sometimes.
Sometimes cook my breakfast.
I cook my breakfast.
And frequently drop off my daughter at the school. I always go to work.
Very good. Muy bien, conquistándose ten. Muy bien. Lo vi. Very good. Okay. ¿Quién hizo la asignación? ¿Alguien hizo la asignación de escribir la rutina?
Sí, pero no sé si...
Okay. No te preocupes, tú no estabas en clase, no te preocupes. Mi sugerencia...
Yo sí la hice, Lina.
Ok, envíamela por email, Maribel, porfa.
Okay.
Si la tienen, me la pueden dar. De todas maneras, vean los videos de YouTube para que vean lo que dimos la semana pasada. Ok, de aquellos de ustedes que faltaron. Y eso lo dejo saber grabado. Quien sea que vea este video, tiene que ver los demás videos.
Gracias.
Okay, class. It's 7:05. We went past like always. Gracias, Maribel. Te veo el miércoles, ¿ok?
Muchas gracias, Lina. Gracias.
De nada.